What's up, Pastor Ron? How you doing, brother? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It is, I almost said Tuesday. It's Wednesday, y'all. It's Wednesday, and we are officially in the last week of October, man. It is cold here in Mississippi, y'all. It's cold this morning. It is extremely cold. I woke up late too. I'm not even gonna lie. I woke up and I was looking. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced, having a schedule of like when you want to get up and you wake up extremely late, y'all. I was looking so dazed and confused. I'm like, Lord, it's 6:40. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm doing good. I'm like, Lord, it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm 3 hours late. I had woke up at 3, took Bo out, and I went back to sleep, y'all. I went right back to sleep. But listen, man, our declaration on this morning is follow God's lead. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Our declaration on this morning is follow God's lead. I do not know who needs to hear it, but I hear it so very clear. Follow God's lead. God has really been dealing with me a lot about, how important it is. Stop, Capone and Bo. Hey, stop. He's really been dealing with me a lot about how important it is in this season to not delay obedience, to not overthink the things that he leads us to do in this hour. And I just keep hearing the phrase, uncommon routes lead to uncommon miracles. I'm going to say it again. Uncommon routes lead to uncommon miracles. I'm going to say that again. Uncommon routes lead to uncommon miracles. It's almost like the old season for so many of us. It made us question our ear to hear God, right? Because there were times in the old season where many of us heard God say something. And then the moment we did what we felt we heard God say, it almost immediately led us into some type of storm, some type of trial or tribulation. And so, what happens in a new season where things are moving, where you're advancing, is that can actually cause cause trauma, but it also causes a little bit of hesitancy when it revolves around obeying what God is leading you to do. And I just hear God saying that the things that it wasn't time for in your old season, whatever season you shifted out of, hey, Miss Jennifer, whatever it wasn't time for in your old season, please expect and understand that in this season, you will find yourself literally in the kairos of God, in that perfect and that divine timing of God, meaning what once could not happen before, it's now going to happen in this season. Even what I've noticed in this season is that God has really been leading me, and it's been uncommon things that he's been leading me to do, which later on I find out to be, man, I'm glad I did that because it actually got me closer, or it opened a certain door or brought a certain breakthrough. Hey, Visha. And so, I just hear God saying, don't overthink his instructions in this season. As God leads you, as he shows you what your steps are, what your strategy is, be quick and diligent in following what you hear God telling you to do. This is not the hour to be lackadaisical. It's not the hour to sit and try to process what God is saying do. It is that season where God is saying it's go time. When I speak, move. I'm going to say it again. It is that season where God is saying, when I give you instructions, when I speak, move. And also in the old season, he's reminded me that a lot of times in the old season, God would, give us visions, and he would give us different types of insight when it revolves around like the things we were believing God for in that season. And it's like, even in some moments, we would oftentimes hear God say, it's not time. How many of y'all in the old season that you shifted out of had some things that you wanted to pursue, and God kept telling you, it's not time yet. Sit still. I know I gave you the vision. I know I've been speaking about it, but it's not yet time. And so in this season, many of us are in that timing to receive all that God has for us, to see certain things begin to materialize that were not materializing in that old season. And what God is simply saying is be quick to follow what he tells you to do. No matter, and I'm gonna be real, Some of these things that God leads us to do are tedious. Not all of them are tedious, but some of these things, you might say, well, God, I could just put it off. Some of you guys have had a tendency of, confusing yourself and going back and forth with what God told you to do, or delaying what God told you to do. This is not that season. I heard it so loudly this morning. God was just saying, this is not that season to delay anything. It's not that season to sit and kind of ponder on what God is telling you to do. It's not that season where God is even making any of us question what's about to happen. But as you receive your instructions, some of y'all already know what God wants you to do. Some of y'all already have a set list of things that you've got to get done. And you know that you've got to get these things done, because for many of us, we understand and we know these things are connected to our entry into the promised land. These things are connected to our breakthrough. They're connected to our blessing. And so I say all of that, both stop. I say all of that to say, don't let the devil fool you in this season. Don't let the devil fool you into thinking that you have more time than you do have to get ready and to get in position. Because again, what could not happen before will now begin to happen. I'm going to say that again. Hey, Miss Alyssa, what could not happen before? I need somebody to type that in. What could not happen before, what it was not timing for before, will now happen in this season that we are in. And honestly, from here to the end of this year and even over into next year, what many of us are going to see is we're going to literally begin to see things, manifest in our lives. We're going to literally begin to see the vision literally become our reality. For many people, this is not a season of tarrying. This is not a season where the vision is tarrying. That time is over. I'm going to say it again. That time of the vision tarrying and taking a long time of you experiencing delays, it is over. But what God is saying is that, and this is urgent for some people, because you've been sitting on what God has spoken, to you to do, whether it's going live on social media, sharing the gospel of God. I don't know why I hear that. Whew. Somebody on here, God has already told you what to do, but you've been overthinking this thing. You've been overthinking, you've been trying to figure out the perfect timing to start, doing live broadcasts. And you've done it, whoever this is, you've done broadcasts in the past, but lately it's been something that it's really been on your heart, and you've been sitting on it. You've been finding things that you deem are more important than doing what God said do. There will never be a perfect time such as now, says the Spirit of the living God. So whoever that word is for, go ahead and start doing those videos. Go ahead and start teaching the gospel of Christ. Because that is something that that you are called to do. It's a woman. It is something that that you are called to do. For some of you guys, God has already given you a set of instructions when it revolves around getting a vehicle, when it revolves around getting living arrangements, when it revolves around, renovations, when it revolves around whatever it is. God has already given you instructions. And it's in this season, the only thing that can, delay or hinder you seeing, God do for you, you receiving your promises, is your obedience, right? So in this season, God is saying follow his lead as think about it like driving. If you're driving, it can even be the GPS, or whether it's somebody telling you which way to go. But think about it like this. Your GPS tells you when a turn is coming up, right? I'm going to say that again. Your GPS, stop Capone. The purpose of your GPS is to lead you to whatever that your desired, location is, whatever your desired destination is. And so what happens, you put the address in the GPS and the GPS tells you which way to go. Now, let's just think about it from this aspect. Especially when you're in a place that you're not familiar with, you are going to follow that GPS to a T. If the GPS says turn right, you are not going to turn left. You're going to go ahead and you're going to turn right? Because you understand that you got a trust and a faith in this GPS, that if you just follow the route that the GPS is telling you, that it will get you to your destination. God is our GPS. This is the point that I'm making. He is our GPS. He knows, the way to get us to our desired destination, whether that is a next level, whether that is a certain blessing, a breakthrough, a miracle. And what God is saying is, as he tells you which way to go in this season, don't go the opposite way. Don't linger on if you want to turn right, especially if you know God is saying turn right. But what he's simply saying is follow his lead. There's somebody here that has thought about taking a cooking course. Jesus. There's somebody here that has thought about taking a cooking course. You've thought about taking a cooking course and thought about, having it's like a recipe book or something like that. God says go for it. He already told you what to do. Somebody here is thinking about renovating their home. Somebody here really wants new furniture. Go for what God told you to do. Just do it. Don't overthink this. Even relational wise and dating wise, God is saying don't overthink what he's showing you, what he's telling you. I need somebody to type that in. Don't overthink it in this season. I'll say it again, because guess what? When you're following that navigation system or that GPS, you're not sitting there overthinking, about the twists and turns or the route that the GPS takes you. You got to trust that understands that this thing works. It's going to lead me to my destination. Don't overthink it in this season. And so that is the word for today. That is the word. Let God lead. Follow God's lead. Follow his lead. To those of y'all that feel led to sow, the seed number that I hear is 17. Whether that's $1.17, whether it is $17, whether it's $10.17, whether it's $34.17, you let God lead you. The ways to sow are in the description. And the seed title, I hear God saying, follow God's lead. Some of y'all may feel led to label it. Don't overthink this. Don't overthink this seed. But that is it, y'all. Let today be a day of movement. Let today be a day of forward progress. Let today be a day where you don't hold yourself up from receiving what God wants to do in your life and for what he has for you. And so that is it, y'all. I love y'all. I am rooting for you guys. I want to encourage you guys to join us on, I won't say Periscope, Jesus, TikTok in about 45 minutes. And so that is it. I love y'all, rooting for you. So until next time, y'all.